What's up, Central Florida, Orlando? Good to see you again. Question I get today is this from the sellers. We're going to talk sellers today. Should we fix this first or can we just put on the market? Now, that question makes sense because no one wants to leave money on the table and no one wants to feel like they're rushed and no one wants to feel like they made a mistake they can't undo. Real quick caveat. If you're new to me, I'm looking down. Ooh, I got my notes right here. I love talking to you. Love having bring you some vital information that'll help you in your mindset when you go to sell your house with me, of course. Right? Why would you want second best? But that's a whole other story for another day. But it's a good story. No one wants to make a mistake. Like, oh my gosh, can't I do it? I left too much money on the table. We're always going to leave something on the table. We always will. That's just the nature of real estate. Right? It's like saying trying to buy the stock at the perfect time at the height of ever, right? A lot of people treat real estate as, oh my gosh, let me sell as if let's say you buying Google at the bottom, at the ever was the bottomest you could have ever bought purchased. And Google's already been a public company for 5 years. Unrealistic, right? You can't go back in time. So, but we can make the best of the situation. So sellers say, okay, wait a minute. What do I got to do? And what I've learned after walking this decision with a lot of sellers is most people don't lose money by doing too little. They lose money by doing too much. So, a Central Florida market today feels very different than a few years ago, and of course it does, right? It feels less rushed. It feels slower, way slower, but things are still moving. And buyers right now are more cautious. They are rates are higher than it was in 2021, but not as they were last year at 8%, 7%. Right now, the time of this recording, we are at 6%, slightly under. It's kind of fluctuating. We're bouncing here in 2026, February. Monthly payments matter more to buyers more than it ever did. And what is the evidence that backs that up? Perfect evidence is this. We are seeing more sellers offer concessions to buyers saying, look, we are going to throw money either towards closing costs, right, cash, or a lot of this now is we're going to help you buy down your rate because we know prices are still up. Prices have not dropped. They're still up. There's still a demand here. It's just people are taking their time and making a move, but the market has not stopped. So buyers aren't rushing, they're evaluating. Very important difference. And when sellers feel that hesitation, the instinct is understandable. They're going, oh my gosh, we have to make this house perfect before a buyer will buy. Or they'll say, let's remove every possible objection that a buyer could have. Let's do just one more project just to play it safe and make sure this house gets sold. But the problem is that advice is incomplete. Because in this market, checking my notes, perfect does not automatically mean profitable. Perfect does not automatically mean profitable. So here's the difference. Let's look at these core mistakes or the difference that a market ready and a perfect ready home, right? It's confusing. And this is where the equity disappears. Perfect is emotional. Oh, my home is perfect. It's emotional. This is the perfect house. I just never want to move, right? I mean, or I just love this house, right? It's emotional. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But it is what it is. Market ready is strategic. Let me think about this. Do the numbers add up? Do the numbers make sense? Market ready, strategic. And as a seller, if we're going to get it ready for the market, we got to be strategic, right? We can't be working out of here. So, perfect usually looks like this. Renovations you'd want if you were staying, design choices based on personal taste, or projects that feel responsible but don't have a clear return. Like, hey, let's resod the yard because it's the right thing to do. That feels noble. That feels so fair. But strategically, are you getting money on that? Are you going to get a return for that sod? That's a question you have to ask yourself. So market ready looks different. Market ready looks a clean house. Is the yard clean? Is there some brown patches? Sure. It's a normal Florida yard. Come on. Unless you have a groundskeeper, which not a lot of people do. And if you do, great. Use it. Make sure he's doing a good job or she's doing a good job. Is your walls neutral? That's huge, right? Or does it have your color? Is it a functional house? Is it priced correctly for the condition it is in? Pristine condition, not perfect. Pristine condition, pristine pricing. Less than pristine, less pristine pricing. We'll talk about pristine later. So, here's a hard truth most sellers aren't told clearly enough. It's this: buyers don't pay you back dollar for dollar for your preferences. Buyers don't pay you back dollar for dollar for your preferences. And sometimes the more specific the upgrades, the smaller the buyer pool becomes. But let's jump back to that dollar for dollar preference. I've seen it many times. Sellers like, but I've poured X amount making this koi pond perfect. Well, you know what? A buyer may not want a koi pond and they're planning on getting rid of it the minute they close on the house because they want to fill it with grass so their dog and their kids can play and throw football in the backyard. But your heart went into that koi pond. Okay? Right? Wrong? Indifferent? No. It's just what people want. And they're going to look at that property for their usage and what best fits their family. But you can't charge them, right, for your emotional attachments. I mean, you can, but they're not going to pay. They're not going to pay. As a matter of fact, I will dare say this, and I had my conversation with my parents. I told my mom once, I said, you wanted to charge those buyers for the memories you created in that house. And I said to her, I said, Mom, if the minute you move from that house, all the memories of every experience you had related to that house in that area in that part of the country were erased from your mind permanently, would that be worth the extra $25,000 you want to charge the buyers? And of course, she said no. And I go, then why are you trying to charge the buyers for your memories? Stop it. The market value is the market value. Quit thinking from here. Let's start thinking strategic. I mean, I didn't yell at her like that, but you know how it is. But you're firm at your parents. I don't know. Anyway, so right now, what's going on, man? Let's look at this clarity applied here. So right now, buyers in Central Florida are doing the math, right? What are they looking at? They're looking at the monthly payments. They're looking at the HOA fees. They're looking at insurance, and they're looking at how flexible their budget feels after closing. Ooh, that's huge, right? It feels after closing. Does it feel tight or is it tight? Two different questions on a buyer's side. Haha. So when the home is heavily renovated, two things happen. First, the price moves into a range where fewer buyers are comfortable. And second, this is subtle, the buyer starts thinking, uh-oh, I'm paying for somebody else's decisions. It's subconscious, right? They're walking and going, am I paying for your decisions? I'm going to have to redo the walls. The color to a color I like. And let's be honest, if you have your accent walls on bright pink, the buyer's thinking, uh-oh, it's going to cost way more to get that change to the color they want. It may not even be neutral. Who knows? But for some reason in their head, they're thinking it's going to cost a lot more. Right? But that doesn't always show up in the feedback. It shows up in your house with fewer showings, longer days on the market, or the proverbial crickets. I hear nothing. So what happens? When I walk a seller through this, we usually land on one of these three smart paths, right? We say the highest return is paint. Then we clean it, we declutter, and you fix what's broken, not outdated. Very big difference. Fix what's broken, not what's outdated. This lets buyers project their future onto their home. And that's really what we're going for. Can we get our buyers to project their future into your home? That's when you start seeing the offers coming in. In some cases, the smartest move is to price the home so that buyers can customize. That often leads to faster decisions and cleaner negotiations. Just did that with a condo today. Walked a seller through it and said, look, you got to declutter, we got to clean it up, and we got to paint it, right? Fix what's broken, but you can't update it. Too much money to update. So we'll leave that to the buyer. You gonna leave money on the table? Possibly. But do you want to put the money into the updating? Is it worth your time and effort? When you look at the ROI, it's not. So, in some cases, the smartest move is to price the home so that the buyer can customize. That often leads to faster decisions and cleaner negotiations. And clean negotiations, my friend, is everything. The riskiest path is the middle, the unplanned middle, right? It's where money gets spent without a clear pricing exit strategy. Let's just throw money at it. No, no, no. What are we trying to achieve? So if you're thinking about selling, I'm saying smelling, the smartest first step usually isn't calling a contractor. If you're thinking about selling, the first thing you want to do is step back and say, what does this home need to be market ready? Not perfect. What does this home need to be market ready? Not perfect. That kind of clarity protects three things: protects your equity, protects your timeline, and it protects your peace of mind. So, this, my friend, slow down for clarity, my friends, because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And if you ever want to talk it through, I'm easy to reach.